Welcome to my tiny kitchen where I'm going to attempt to make honey chili chicken tonight for tea. Chinese food's definitely a favourite of my family, so this is a really quick and easy version of it, which is actually quite healthy as well, so I hope you enjoy. Ingredients, first of all, for the chicken you'll need a pack of chicken. It's about 500 grams in this one. This recipe is for 4. Okay, also going to need a couple of carrots, red pepper. To make the sauce that it's going to cook in, you'll need some honey, some dried chilies, some dark soy sauce, garlic granules, and a couple of chicken oxo cubes. Okay, it really needs to be the kind of oxo cubes because you want to crumble them, so they have to be quite dry. Okay, to serve with my chicken tonight, we're going to have another favourite, so some noodles. I'm going to add a bit of onion to this just to give it a bit of flavour. We'll do them in the wok, so you will need some frying oil as well, and we'll just add a dash of soy sauce to them as well when they're cooking. So that's all we need ingredient wise. Equipment wise, you are looking for, you'll need a vegetable peeler, chopping board, knife, pot for doing your noodles, wok for cooking through the noodles later on. These ones haven't been pre-cooked, and you'll also need just an oven proof dish for the chicken going into the oven. So it's quite good, you can get the chicken into the oven, and while you're doing that you can get the noodles done, and then everything's kind of ready at the same time, with not too much fuss, hopefully. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to pop my oven on just now, and you want your oven at about 160 degrees, okay, if it's a fan assisted oven. Maybe if you want to pop it up to 180 if it's not, and I guess that's probably what about gas mark 4, I think. Okay, so I'm going to have that heating up while I start to get the chicken ready. I've also boiled the kettle as well, because I like to just start with really boiling water when I put the noodles in. Okay, so first things first, I'm going to cut up the chicken and put it into the tray. Okay, so it is recommended, just to make sure that nothing sticks, just to put a couple of squirts low fat cooking spray. You can use a bit of vegetable oil, whatever you like, and I always use my kitchen scissors. I use these for everything because I find it's a little bit less messy. So I'm just going to take the chicken and I'm going to cut it into just what I would call bite-sized pieces. Okay, so that's the chicken just lying in the bottom of the tray. Okay, I'm just going to tidy this up and then we'll get on to making the actual sauce that goes over the top and that they're going to cook. Okay, so that's that out of the way. I've washed my hands because you know anytime you touch chicken you really have to wash your hands before you start anything else. I'm going to start getting the sauce ready now actually. So just a little bowl to prepare it in. Okay, and I'm going to need a teaspoon and a tablespoon for this one. Okay, so because we like to have the chicken over the noodles, we're really looking for quite a bit of sauce so that it's not too dry. Okay, so for this I'm going to pop in 3 tablespoons of runny honey. This is dark soy sauce. Okay, I haven't really tried it with a lighter one. Again, it's probably personal taste. So if we put 4 tablespoons of this in, okay, and give it a good mix. Into that you're going to crumble 2 of the chicken oxos. Okay, and you see what I mean, just that it really does have to be these sort of dried ones so that it goes in quite easy and it's not lumpy. Okay, so we're going to mix that in. We're going to add a teaspoon, okay, so smaller one this time, of, this is garlic granules, and it's dried crushed chilies. Now it says a pinch. I don't usually find these too strong. Okay, so again it's personal taste, but I'd say if you maybe put a teaspoon of these in, But if you're not sure and you don't really like things too spicy, maybe start with half a teaspoon. See how you get on this time when you're cooking it, and if you like it and you think you could have it just a wee bit hotter, you can maybe try more the next time. So you're going to end up with a sauce that is really quite runny. Okay, I'm going to pour it over the chicken. Okay, and then just give it a little mix up to make sure that all the chicken's coated. Okay, so you're going to end up with a dish that looks a bit like this. Okay, I'm going to pop this in the oven just now. I've got my timer on because I really want it to be in there for about 30 minutes just to cook through. What I'm going to add to it partway through the cooking, some sliced carrots and then some red peppers. I don't want to add them just now because they don't take as long to cook as the chicken, and they'd end up being, you know, they'd lose all their crunch. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in the oven just now, and then I'm going to make a start on my noodles. Okay, so dried noodles, I use a pack for the 4 of us. They boil in 4 minutes, but just double check whatever it says on your packaging. I've boiled the kettle, so I'll just make sure that they are covered up. Okay. Right, I'll just pop the lid on to keep the heat in. You guys have been cooking so much that I thought you don't have to watch me peel and wash a carrot, but I've got a couple of carrots that I'm going to start to get ready while I wait on the noodles. Okay, the way I like to do them, like carrot sticks, I think it just looks a bit better on the dish. I don't want them to be too thick because they'll take too long to cook. So I'm just really looking at something like that. I've got a red pepper that I have de-seeded and washed. I'm going to cut that into strips as well. They're not going to cook for as long though, because I'd still like them to have a wee bit of a bite. So while I've got the chopping board out, I'm going to just chop an onion for the noodles. Just gives it an extra wee bit of flavour, but again, if you don't like onions, leave it out. It doesn't need to be in there. I'm just going to check on the noodles because they are dried and they can sometimes stick together quite a lot. Now I use this, which is more for your spaghetti, but I find it quite good for just giving that a wee stir and making sure that they're not all sticking together. So you like to put some toasted sesame seeds on the top. It looks nice and it is actually really tasty. You need about 2 tablespoons, I'd say. You just put them into the bottom of a dry wok, no oil or anything, and you've got time while everything else is cooking away. Just pop the lid on and just let them toast away. They'll probably take about 5 minutes. Keep an eye on them because they can burn if you forget. You might need to give it just a little bit of a shake or a sugar just to make sure that they're not sticking, but just in there on their own. Again, it's optional. If you don't like them, don't put them in. Okay. Right, I'm going to take those off the heat now and just pop them into a little dish so that we can use them when we're serving up later. Okay, so the chicken's been cooking for about 15 minutes. It's looking good. I'm going to add the carrots just now with about 12 minutes left to go of the cooking time. Okay, so carrots are going in. I'm just going to give that a little stir just to make sure that everything gets coated in the sauce so that it doesn't dry out. So this is the dish just now. That's the timer just went off to say that the carrots have been in the oven for about 7 minutes. So I'm just going to check and see how they're looking just now. Right, so they're not looking too bad just now. They're starting to cook through. So I'm going to add the red pepper that I chopped earlier in to just put them in for the last like 5 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stir that through. Okay, so that's the peppers in. Carrots cooked through a bit already. You'll see there's still quite a lot of the sauce left at the bottom there, so just make sure that everything's coated before it goes back into the oven, and that's going to go in for about 5 minutes now. That should give us enough time to cook the noodles. If they take a wee bit longer, just turn the heat down a wee bit so that it doesn't dry out. So to do the noodles, fry light, if you want to be really health conscious, and I think if that's what you've got in the house, because we used it in other Clovenstone kitchen recipes, that's great. We use a bit of sesame oil because that gives like quite a nice wee taste, but again it's personal preference, so just using whatever oil you've got in the house. I'm going to pop a bit of this in just now. Okay, but alternatively a few squishes of this or vegetable oil, okay, whatever you have to hand. It doesn't need to be too fussy. Okay, and I'm going to pop the sliced onion in. Okay, just make sure that it's separate, and sometimes it can go in big clumps. Okay, you can hear it start to sizzle already, I think, if I stop talking. Onion is cooking away. I'm just going to give that a minute or two before I add the noodles. I don't want it to burn, but I do want it to soften up a bit. Okay, so onion has had a couple of minutes. It's softening up quite nicely, okay, but not overcooking. And I've got the cold noodles, okay. So you'll see they are nice and separate. They haven't clumped together. So I am just going to use my hands to put them in. That just makes sure that as they go in, they're not all sticking together. Okay. And just give them a wee stir as you put them in. Okay, and a wee stir just to make sure. Oh, that is my chicken ready. So I'm just going to turn the heat down. Okay, maybe just turn it down to about 80 or something just to keep it warm. Okay, and I'm just going to stir through the noodles to make sure that they all get a coating with the oil. Okay, and you'll see they're still looking a bit pale just now. The idea is to warm them up. It's not that we're going to really fry them and have them change colour. The way they change colour is we're going to add a bit of the soy sauce to them. That's another reason that I didn't add any salt to the water or anything when I was boiling them, because there's quite a bit of salt in the soy sauce. So okay, that's probably about a tablespoon and a half going in, and you'll see it starts to give the noodles a much darker colour. Okay, so it doesn't need a lot of oil. More of the soy sauce, and then just left to cook it not too high a heat. Okay, time to get the chicken out of the oven. And just watch because it is very hot. Just create a bit of steam. Okay, so that's the chicken dish out of the oven. Okay, everything cooked through. Okay, but still the vegetables have still got a wee bite to them. Okay, and my noodles are ready there now as well. Okay, you can see they've got that wee bit colour, you can hear a wee bit sizzle, but there's not lots of like fat or oil or anything in there, so it's still quite healthy. And again, they've taken a lot of their colour from the soy sauce. Just remember, keep the lid on them while you're heating them through, because that'll heat them through a lot quicker. Okay, I'm just going to get ready to dish up them. Okay, so we're ready to dish up them with some noodles on the bottom. Okay, that's the fun part, trying to get them all to go in without going all over the place. And then some of the chicken with the carrots and the red pepper. Okay, and you remember the toasted sesame seeds from before? Okay, I'm going to sprinkle some over the top. Okay, so that's the finished dish. I've got a pair of chopsticks at the side, but I'll be honest, we don't usually use chopsticks. We might start off and have a couple of bites that way, but yeah, it's actually, if you want to eat it before it gets cold, unless you're an expert, it's a knife and fork. But it looks good. Okay, and as you can see, the ingredients that we had are more than enough for a family of 4. Okay, enjoy.